Hey guys, this is Shiraz from Integration IT. Uh, this is my video after such a long time. Actually, this is a quick video on Avaya ACCS 7, Avaya ACCS 7 installation. So I'm just gonna quickly go through the points what we need before starting our installation. So as you know that Avaya has not recently, like couple of months back, they released the ACCS 7, and since then they have done some changes in their new release about their operating system and the components they have added, which I will cover up in other later videos. But let me just quickly show you what we need before we start the installation. So first thing first, what we have here is we have Windows Server 2012 R2. This is the first major requirement from Avaya, that we should have the Windows 2012 R2 operating system. And after that, what we are looking at here is 16 GB. Well, this is the minimum requirement from the Avaya in order to install the application. And minimum you should have the 4 processors. But it is always recommended to go with the higher processor, and the maximum or the recommended RAM should be 32 GB. And plus your Windows needs to be activated, which I should have, but since it's a lab, so it doesn't matter. So this is the first requirement from Avaya, that we should have these hardware and the operating system needs to be in place. And secondly, as I said, we should have Windows 2012 R2. We should have minimum 16 GB. If you don't have a 16 GB, your installation will not go through. It will stop you before doing the installation. So make sure you have the minimum requirement in place in order to start the installation. But before that, before you begin the the installation, you should have the Microsoft Windows latest or updates installed, especially the security updates, all other the updates the Microsoft has. You should have it before installing the ACCS. And secondly, you should have the ACCS latest patches, which is designed for release 7. And the other thing is ACCS 7 no longer support the Avaya Media Server. Now it's called the Avaya Aura Media Server, which does the call routing and and has a different procedure to anchoring the calls, which I will cover later on what exactly it is and how it works. But definitely it will be a co-resident with this installation. And the best thing is, which I liked it, I mean, it saves a lot of time, is you don't need to go through the prerequisite installation like before you used to install the IAS, ActiveX and the database and all this stuff. Now it is not required. The installation process will take care of it, and it will begin the installing the prerequisite, from prerequisite all the way doing the component installation, ACCS component installation. And last not the least, we should make sure we have the partition in this order, like C obviously for the operating system, D, as you know, for the application drive where Avaya application get installed, and the other one is the voice contact server, which is like your main core application, ACCS, CCMS, CCMA. These things will be installed there. And then if you have a multimedia, if you are going to use the multimedia, the multimedia database will be here. And this drive is for journal drive, which again contains the database information and all. So that's pretty much. And obviously the E drive should be always the drive which has the DVD drive. And before you begin, you make sure you have the patches available here on your D drive. and it should be extracted. So let me just quickly extract patch 7. So I'll just do the quick unzip. So I'll just put inside and I will extract all. Yeah. And if you are doing in the production, then make sure you have your license, which I have it in my C drive. You can keep it anywhere if you want to. Just quickly copy, and then what you need to do is you can either keep it at the same place, or you can just quickly go and copy it on the D drive. If I go here, D drive, I just can simply keep it over here. So I have my patches here extracted. Now all we need to do is we need to quickly go to our drive. I will just close this, and now all we need to do is go to your installation folder or the drive, right click on it and begin the installation. Install. Now what it will do, it will check first of all your hardware. As you can see, it is telling you the minimum drive is 16 GB, which is okay, but it is always recommended to have 32 GB or greater to do your production installation. And let me just, yeah, so I will ignore because I have the minimum requirement available, so I'll say ignore. Now I will do the installation with Avaya or a media server, as I told you. Skill based, for the skill based routing and all this stuff, provides an onboard Avaya media server instance. You can look into the document to get more details, but at the moment I will just quickly go for the installation. Next. And just to make sure we are picking up the right databases as I named as well, just quickly grab it here. Okay, so my general database drive is H drive, and my voice contact server database is F drive. Is 170. Okay, that's okay. We can have it more or we can keep it same. I mean, it's always recommended to have 180 GB or greater for the production. And our multimedia is HFG. Okay, so now here we need to select the path where we have our latest service pack for the ACCS, which I copied here, patch 7, service pack 7, okay, which I showed you earlier that I extracted the patch 7 here. I'll say OK. It will just cross check the patch level and all. Okay, that's fine. Now we can begin and click on install. Warning, I show you, yeah, I mean we can ignore this. As I said, it's a lab system, it's just for the recording, so we can ignore and say yes. And then this is all the license agreement and all this term. I say accept. I accept, and we'll just wait. Okay, so here we are. It has begun the installation. It may take little time because I have the minimum hardware, and I'll just keep it on for some time so you can see how the components installation is going on. And it has to finish till 58. What I will do, I will just quickly pause the video and I will come back once the installation is done. Alright. Uh, so I have begun the recording again. So as you can see, we are still in the middle of the installation. We have finished the installation of the components, and it has finished the prerequisite. It has finished the installation of ignition server, which you will see after completing the patch installation. So now we have the patch installation going on, and I will definitely come back once we have once the installation the patch installation is finished. So I will resume the recording again. So I'll just quickly pause again. Okay, the installation is done. So now what is gonna happen is it will launch the ignition wizard, which is basically to gather the system information like the subdomain, the IP address of the IP office, the system password, and other stuff, which I will just show you quickly now. Click on configure. And click next. I accept. Next. Okay, so this is where we need to put the IP office information, like what is the IP address. In my case, I have my IP office running here. So my IP office IP is 192.168.1.231. I don't have a LAN 2, so I just have a LAN 1, which is 231. So I'll quickly go back to my ACCS. It is 231, yeah. So I'll say 192.168.1.231. We'll keep the default port number. So this is a subdomain we need to configure, like accslab.com, or how about integration it dot. I'll go with net. You can keep anything like .local or anything, or I'll say .com. But my website name is integration-id.net. So the IP office SIP extension. So the SIP extension needs to be configured in IP office, and all these parameters, how to configure it. I mean, the part which needs to be configured, you can find all this IP office configuration part in the deployment document, which I will try to share in my post on my website. So you can just go there and go through step by step what is there, what needs to be configured. So at this moment, I'll just keep extension like 6000, and make sure this 6000 SIP extension has to be configured, and has to be configured in your IP office. And the password is 123456. Just 123456. And this is the IP office username, which is normally your administrator username. Password is the password what you have, what you configured in your IP office. And this is the system password, which you normally configure at the time of installation of the IP office. And if I can just quickly show you, if you don't know how to get your 1 second, let me just quickly grab my IP office manager. Just getting logged in. Here you are. This is my IP office, and if you want to know the system password, you go to the file, advanced security settings, and so if you go to system and unsecured interface, so this is where you have your password configured. If you don't know the password, you can just simply click change and you can reset your password. So I'll go back to my configuration and let me just quickly show you the SIP domain which I configured here. So let me just quickly show you the parameters needs to be configured. So when you go to the LAN 1, you have your IP address configured. When you go to the VoIP, so this is the domain name what we need to configure, which is integration-it.net or .com, and you need to make sure auto create extension user. You can either click on this or you can ignore this one, and they used to SIP remote now. Yeah, that's it. So you can just quickly click OK, and then you have one contact center tab. You need to tell what type of contact center we are using here. So we will say IP contact center select, and we need to give the IP address 192.168.1. I forgot what the IP is. I think it's 232. Should be 235. Yeah. So let me just quickly grab 235, and the username is ACCS. I will just keep ACCS sync, which is the default username password we have in the ACC, so it can sync between the ACCS and the IP office to sync the contact details, not the contact details, sorry, the agent details, the agent names and the profiles and all. Just click OK. So this will not do anything right now because we need to reboot our IP office, but I'm just showing you what exactly needs to be done. And if you go back to the voice one, telephony, and then you need to go to what was it? I think no, system. There is one more option, supervisor settings. I totally forgot where is it. Anyways, I will show you that later. So at the time being, we can ignore this and we can quickly go back to our installation. Just close this, minimize. Okay, so since I know my password, so I'm just gonna quickly put my password, and then I click next. Simple agent password values cannot be empty. Okay, enter the agent Windows account password. So I'll just put the, so this is gonna be the default password for the sample agents, which the system will automatically create, like agent starting with 6001, 6002, 3, 4, 5, 6 to still 6, or sorry, the 10 sample agents will be created, and all of them will gonna have the same default password which I just configured here. And this is a sample CDN, the root point for the skill set, for the application, for the IVR. And this is a callback mailbox if you are using the callback feature in ACCS. Then you click next. Account configure cannot be empty. Okay, this is again the the system administrator password, the login, when you log into your Windows. So that password you need to configure here. Okay, so you go to the licensing, and we are using not the KRS. The KRS we used to use in Normal time or Avaya 6.4 or 6.3 time. So we'll select the WebLM, select browse, and we will quickly go and pick up your license file, which I told you I have it here. Okay, then you go to the multimedia. If you are using the multimedia, you can go ahead and you can configure your incoming and outgoing email server and username and password. In my case, I don't use, so I'll select none, and I quickly go through the tabs and make sure all the information is good, and then I select next. Again, I will go through the information and I'll say configure. So it will validate the configuration and it will start doing the other component installation and the configurations, which at time being I will just pause it and I will come back once it is done. Okay, so my installation is done. As you can see, the installation process was very easy compared to the earlier release, where we have to go through so many things, starting from the prerequisite configuration. Now everything is so smooth, starting from the 6.4 till all the way 7.0. So I personally like the process, the changes they have done from the 6.4, and it has saved a lot of time in terms of the installation. And just the configuration part is so easy. You just need to go and launch your web browser and start putting your configuration things like agents, skill set, the scripting, which I will try my level best to cover in my next video, and each and every part from the step 1 till all the way to the mid level. So I hope you like this video. If you have anything, if you want to ask anything, please feel free to comment, or you can put on the question in the comment bar or on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much.